Hello, dailyfantasycafe.com goers. You've made it. You've gotten through the undergraduate courses and you have now reached the graduate courses of the Daily Academy. And like a bad penny, you can't get rid of me. I'm your professor, Josh Shepardson, also known as @Beachhead50 in the world of Twitter. And the first topic that I'm going to discuss in depth on course G201, research, is the topic of the day, and it's of the utmost importance in daily fantasy, and that should pretty much go without saying. A good plan for research is your foundation for winning regularly, winning consistently, and winning big in daily fantasy sports. And without it, you are basically flying rudderless, and it's very difficult, and by difficult, I mean next to impossible, to win consistently and be a profitable daily gamer if you're not researching and you're not researching correctly, which correctly being the key there. It's much like going to the gym and working out. It's great to throw the weights around, but if you have no idea what you're doing, you're not gaining anything. So having a proper plan of attack and understanding how to do things the right way is really your key to being a long-term profitable daily fantasy sports grinder. So one of the first things that I'll say about research and preparation is it should start here at dailyfantasycafe.com. We've got great articles up. We've got some great tools that will help you win your games. I mean, it's what we do for a living. It is our living. So lean on us, the experts, which ties in very nicely to the next topic of your daily research that should be part of your regimen. Lean on the experts. I mean, they are a great source of information. They are here, and we are here, the experts at Daily Fantasy Cafe, to help you win. We've navigated the daily fantasy landscape. We've had our ups and downs, and we've kind of learned along the way how to best go about winning. I mean, it's a process. It takes time. There's trial and error, and there's no sense in you going down the same road that we went down when we could pass on our knowledge to you. So lean on the experts for coverage in all of daily fantasy sports games, NBA, MLB, NFL. I mean, we've got great tools here, such as cheat sheets and the pertinent statistics that you should be using to topple the competition, basically. I mean, there's a lot of information out there in every sport, but a lot of it can be immediately dismissed because it doesn't have predictive value. The experts know what information is useful and what isn't. So make sure that you are using our daily video podcasts, that you are reading our articles, and leaning on us, because like I said, it's our profession. I mean, a lot of daily gamers out there have families, have lives, have day jobs, and can't put forth the research that we can. That's what leaning on the experts is all about. Utilize us to help you. Another big thing that you should be using and that we use daily is Vegas lines. You're going to hear me say throughout the year on podcasts, as you're going to see me write throughout the year in articles, Vegas, the casinos, the resorts, the beauty, the majestic, the lights and everything, they weren't built on crappy lines being put out by bookmakers. They know what they're doing. Those folks are among the most brilliant sports people in the researchers in the world. I mean, they are accounting for everything. They are accounting for weather. They are accounting for time of day, for usage, for injuries. And basically, these lines represent gold for daily gamers. It's freely available, well-researched, the best researched information out there. So you'd be a fool not to use this freely available information. There are numerous sites that have Vegas lines. We will post our Vegas lines, the Vegas lines that we prefer use here on dailyfantasycafe.com. So they are available, but I mean, there are other places that you can find them as well. And looking at things such as betting totals in all sports, NFL, MLB, and and NBA can give you kind of an idea of what kind of scoring output you can expect in a contest, and that can have very valuable implications on what players you should be rostering on your daily fantasy squad. So make sure you're using Vegas lines in your everyday research. They're invaluable, and it's the best kind of well-researched free information you can get. Use the forums, and this is something that is just wonderful that's offered at dailyfantasycafe.com. At our fantasybaseballcafe.com site, we have a daily fantasy forum section with daily training information, with daily tips, with strategy, with all sorts of great information. And that's your think tank. That is the daily fantasy out of us experts, gamers looking to get into it, of savvy, grizzled veterans in the daily fantasy sports world. And it's a great place to discuss strategy, to discuss ideas, to keep up on last-minute lineup swaps, on injuries that could have an impact on games, on potential valuable players that emerge throughout the day as news breaks. It is a great place to get really thoughtful information, and a great place to ask questions and kind of think out loud. The poker forums are the first place that I saw really perfect this idea of a think tank, and the daily fantasy forums are on their way, and the idea is there. It's simple. As you talk to other smart daily gamers, great information becomes available, and everyone wins. It's a great way of honing and mastering your craft without maybe taking some risks of trial and error. Others have been out there and done it, perhaps, and you can avoid those pitfalls by talking to us, by talking to other savvy daily gamers on the forum. So make sure you're using those forums. They're active, they're fun, and it's just a really great community as well. A lot of very thoughtful, smart people that are fun to chat with. I mean, that's yes, we all win money, we all want to win money, but have some fun doing it. I mean, it's rare that you can make money and have fun and meet and talk to some fun people that share a common interest with you. So take advantage of those forums in your daily research. Another thing that's very important is knowing your opponents. And if you've played in season-long leagues, you understand this. You know that there's that one person who is a homer for their team, and they're going to overdraft players. Well, it's maybe not quite as easy to understand your opponents in daily games, but there is you can figure things out. You can see which players are buzzing, track who's going to likely be most owned in games. We provide that information in some of our articles that highlight, yeah, this is what you can expect to see tonight, and knowing that can give you an edge, and that edge is what you're looking for in daily fantasy games. It also is good to understand, especially if you're seeking out head-to-head contests, who are you looking to play in games with? If you see a name with multiple head-to-head contests open, it is imperative that you look up their track record of success, because if they are a daily grinder, maybe they aren't the person you want to be mixing it up with in daily games. Find somebody that's a little bit greener, that doesn't have a track record, and mix it up with them. But understanding what your opponent's tendencies are and their track record of success can go a long way in helping you be more profitable and sustain that profitability. The next part of daily research that I'm going to touch on is tracking the experts. These are the best people in the industry to follow, because they're not winning money consistently by good luck. See what their lineups look like. There are people out there making a full-time living by playing daily fantasy sports, and it's, like I said, it's not an accident. It's not good fortune. So as you're digging through these head-to-head opponents and seeing, that so-and-so has a great track record for success, keep an eye on what they're doing. See what you notice as a common trend on their rosters. Track some of their big tournament field wins and see, like, is there a common thread between these cashing rosters, and is it something that you are incorporating into your own roster building? And if it's not, it's something that you should probably consider doing. I mean, because if they're winning money consistently using this commonality between rosters. There's certainly something to it, and there's a reason for it. And that ties in nicely with the next topic, which is track all winning lineups. It's not just the experts winning these contests. Go on DraftKings, check the Millionaire Maker, and see from week to week, is a certain position being overvalued, undervalued? What are you seeing in common with these winning teams? And start incorporating that information into your roster building, because I mean, they say emulating someone is the greatest and most sincere form of flattery. Well, it's also great when you're winning money as a result of doing so. So make sure that you're tracking winning lineups, seeing what's out there and what's making money, because there's no better way to make money than understanding where value can be had and how these best lineups are being constructed. And I've said it throughout the podcast, consistency is key. That goes for caching, but it also goes for research. You only have a finite amount of time to research, so you need to have a system in place for your research. Make sure that you're going and doing the same things day after day for your research, so that it's not just a clustered mess trying to fit all of this research into that finite amount of time. If you're checking the Vegas lines first, check the Vegas lines, and then follow that up by reading the articles at Daily Fantasy Cafe that are touching on GPPs, and then cash games, and then the Pulse, and check out which guys are going to be owned, over-owned and under-owned. But making up a consistent routine, doing the same things at the same times is huge. And remember, if your routine is busted for whatever reason, maybe you got caught in a traffic jam coming home from work and you just don't have that time, maybe it's best to pass that night, because as they say, a dollar saved is a dollar earned, basically. You don't want to just flush money by cutting corners in your research and missing out on important information because you were in such a panic to get rosters in. So make sure that you're consistently following the same routine on a daily basis. Once you figure out what that is, and it takes a little bit of time to figure out exactly what routine works for you, but when you find it, when you figure it out, when you find out the best way, the most timely way to get through all the information you need, follow that regimen, and it will be your key to success. Another thing that's great to do in your daily research, and this applies more so to some sports than others, but set target scores. And you can do that by tracking the daily fantasy games, tracking your own, tracking others, and seeing what scores are consistently finishing in the top half of 50-50s, what scores are consistently winning head-to-heads, which ones are finishing atop the GPPs. If you know what scores are consistently in the money, then you should be shooting to construct rosters that hit that target score, because it does you no good in an MLB game to hit 100 points in a GPP of 110 is what's typically cashing. You need to shoot higher. So make sure that you're setting your target scores, and the best way to do that is to track what's winning, figure out what dollar amount per point is required within your salary cap, because almost all daily games include a salary cap. So you can do some configuring and determine $35,000 salary cap. I need to hit 110 points to have a realistic shot at cashing in this contest. Well, break it down and figure out how many points you need per dollar, and it becomes a little bit easier to understand and hit these target scores. Your research, I'm going to wrap it up by saying trust your research. There's no worse feeling than spending your day, your time doing the research, picking out the top players, and then you get to your lineup and you've only got $3,200 to spend on a player, and you're second guessing yourself, and you start monkeying with things, and you just plug in players for the sake of plugging in players. Don't do that. It doesn't work out well. If the clock's winding down and you've got leftover salary cap dollars, and you just don't feel like your roster looks right, tinker with it, but use the players that you've researched and identified as the top players that day. Don't just stick someone in because they allow you to spend your entire salary cap. You can leave a few $100s on the board if your research says that that's the best lineup that you're constructing. Now, I'm not advocating leaving a ton of money on the table, because most likely if you're doing that, you can mix and match your top plays a little better and spend more of your cap. But to leave just a few $100s on the board is better than grabbing somebody who uses up the total salary cap just for the sake of doing so. It's not a good strategy. It's not a good move. You've done that research. Trust it. So that's going to wrap things up for the research portion of the Daily Academy. Make sure that you're doing these things every day. As I said, once you get in a routine, it's imperative that you stick to that routine. And the guidelines that I've laid out here are the foundation for your success in daily fantasy games. So make sure that you're utilizing it and doing so in your daily research yourself. In the meantime, good luck, take care, and win big.